Alright, what's going on, guys? So right now he's in the process of tearing apart the element in the CRX. The CRX won't be done for a little while, but he is going to start working on it obviously now. But he's going to actually start spending most of the money on parts in the spring. So for right now, I'm actually selling him the coupe I bought. It's a K20Z3 swap. Right now it actually needs a clutch, so he's going to be taking the clutch out of the CRX to put into that. And he'll be driving that around for now until he gets closer to being done with this, and then after the winter he's gonna sell the coupe to buy stuff for this. The coupe does have a K Pro and stuff, but he wants a K Pro V4, so he'll be selling the coupe with the K Pro V3 to get the V4 and the turbo set up for this. And I believe he plans on using a TSX K24 now, so I'll show you the coupe once we bring it here and do the clutch in it, and I'll just give you a quick walk around of that. Alright, so this is the coupe that I ended up picking up that had the full K20Z3 swap. But I wasn't here, but he already took the whole swap out of this and ended up throwing it into the CRX because there was races the day after he was doing it because he wanted to race there. But it ended up not being a clutch problem. So, well, he put the clutch in the CRX in it and it still has the same problem, so he doesn't know what the problem is. So right now we're gonna throw the Type S tranny back into the CRX, so I'll just show you this right now. So he put the whole Z3 swap in this, and he's using the Honda now. Right now we're just gonna start pulling the axles and stuff and drop that tranny, and then this one's gonna go back in. This was the clutch that was in the coupe. It was an Action Stage 3. Some of the parts on here weren't even touching the flywheel. The clutch was pretty beat, so he assumed that was the problem, but he put this clutch in it and still had the same problem. So once we get this out, there's a possibility we're gonna try opening up the tranny, so I'll show you that. So it's about an hour later, we got the trans pulled out, just put the clutch fork from this tranny back onto that one, because that was also one of the problems we thought it could have been, so we figured we'd use the CRX one on it, but this is still having issues, so we're just swapping everything back over to that, and then we're gonna put it back in and see if that was the problem. So we're just tightening up the last wheel right now. Everything else is all set. And then we're just gonna put the car back on the ground and see if it grinds going into the reverse. And if not, that's how we know it is a tranny issue, and we're gonna have to figure something out with that. We'll pull it apart and probably watch another YouTube video to figure out like what we're looking at. But this tranny was the one that was originally in it. It has a bad second gear, so it locks you at RPM at high RPMs, but it doesn't grind going into first, reverse. And he got used to the whole shifting at a lower RPM into second, so it wasn't that big of an issue. So if anything, we're just gonna use this one for now until we figure out the problem with this one. So I'll start recording again once we get the car on the ground and we're ready to test it. Alright, so it's all back together and we tried it. The car still rolls forward when putting it into like first gear with the clutch in. We have no clue why it's doing that. This is a different clutch. It is the clutch off the Type S motor that was in this originally. And it was doing it with that tranny, the Z3 tranny, but it was also grinding. Now it's not grinding, but it's still moving forward. So we're thinking it's this clutch has a problem too. Like something went wrong when we took it off this other motor. So now the new plan is gonna be take this swap out of the element, put the Z3 tranny on it, leave the stock clutch on this motor because this clutch is fine, and hope when we put it into that it goes into gear fine and doesn't grind or anything, and then we'll know that this clutch became junk when we pulled it off that motor, and then that other clutch that was originally in the coupe was junk too. So that would make it a clutch problem, and then if that's the case, tranny's coming back out of the coupe, tranny's coming back out of this, the Z3 trans is gonna go into this with a new clutch, and then the Type S trans is just gonna go back into that. So next video will probably be pulling apart the element and getting that swap ready to throw into the coupe.